Hello everyone, I'm Chris with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Arizona, Kawasaki KTM Triumph of Tucson. Try saying that 10 times fast. I know I can't. But we're here to check out a very cool bike. It is the Ninja 7. It's an HEV, a hybrid electric vehicle. Something that I haven't seen or really noticed on the market at all. So if you know of another one, leave a comment down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Comment, definitely want to hear from you. Like this video and definitely subscribe. All right, so we got the Kawasaki 7 Hybrid. It's a Ninja. It's got a 451cc motor. It's the Kawasaki 500 really. And then it has a 7 kilowatt to 9 kilowatt max PM motor, electric motor that's in there that adds that HEV factor, the EV part of it. And that is powered by a 48 volt lithium ion battery pack. And you can kind of see where that's housed right here. What's interesting about that is you have your first, at least what I'm aware of, production hybrid electric vehicle, hybrid electric freaking motorcycle. And I think that's a fantastic start. What does all that mean power-wise? You're around 58 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque. Nothing that's going to blow you out of the water. And 7 kilowatt to 9 kilowatt is roughly 9 to 12 horsepower. If you do the conversions, like 1.35 to whatever you're multiplying it to. So again, around 9 horsepower to 12 horsepower additional with this. When they say max, that's because this thing has an e-boost button that can be used under certain conditions. We'll get into that though. But those are the numbers. This thing's around 500 pounds, so it is a little heavy. But to put it in the context, the Zero SRF is like 520, 540. So it is a good bit heavier than what this is. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about, okay, this thing's heavy, but it's got low horsepower. In the realm of electrics, it's kind of lighter than that. All right, so let's get into the dash a little bit here. Starts up, gives you that sweet logo, Kawasaki, good times. And then you have your normal screen. Now what you need to do is you got your buttons on the left hand bar here. You have automatic manual transmission, which is kind of cool. We'll talk about that real quick. But something cool about this is there is no clutch, there is no shifter. It's all done automatically. What's interesting that Kawasaki has done is put these little thumb and finger switches so that way if you want to shift yourself, it's almost like having paddle shifters in a car. I think that's pretty cool, but does it take away from the fun of shifting? Yeah, probably. At least they kept it though. Not all electric bikes are like that. It's just one single gear and you go. This allows you to shift through 6 gears. Now, you'll see we're in sport, and you'll see HEV, EV. All right, let's go over some of the riding modes. Right now, we're in eco mode, and with that mode, you can have around 7.5 miles of range, and you can go up to about 40, and then it trips over to the HEV. So eco hybrid mode is when you go above the 2,000 RPM, and then the motor kicks on. And then the logic of this motorcycle isn't to just make it faster or anything like that. It's really just focused on having great fuel consumption. So when you go to eco hybrid, don't expect it to be just an instant hit of power and you're like, oh my God, it's the fastest thing ever. That's not what the intent of the eco hybrid is. It's really just, again, to give you that ultimate fuel economy when you're putting around town or going on your commute. And now we're in the sport hybrid mode. And what that allows you to do is it opens up the motorcycle completely. And then it gives you the option or the ability to use the e-boost function. Now, what's interesting about the e-boost is you can't be under hard leans. It needs to be at a particular RPM at a time, and you can only use it for up to like 5 seconds. So that's where you can utilize that extra 9 kilowatt freaking power of the electric motor, but it's under a very specific, setting and operating conditions. So like it's mentioned that if you're trying to hit an apex and get some power out of the turn, you have to be looking and be aware of your thumb on the button to push it. It's cool, but it's one of those things that you really need to be aware of what you're doing in order for it to be used. And it just takes a little bit of learning. Something that's cool that you can do when you actually go into the eco hybrid and then the sport hybrid modes, you can use the thumb paddles to actually switch gears. Once the motor's running, you can change through your gears that way. Granted, in the EV hybrid mode, it's more desired to be an automatic and just kind of let the bike do its thing to keep everything hunky-dory and have the best, fuel consumption. But it's still cool to have something you can just kind of flick around on. It's like I said, it's like having a paddle in a car. Does it make it less fun? I think on a motorcycle, maybe, but it's good that it's there. Now let's talk about the seating position real quick. Throw a leg over it. The seat height's 31 1/3 inches high, so it's actually pretty low. You seem like you sit further down in the bike. And as far as reach goes, I just tried to grab a clutch. There isn't one. Really comfortable. I would liken this to the CBR like 650 or the Ninja 650. It's got that more upright, comfortable riding position, and you actually have a decent amount of room to slide back if you want. I will say right now, my heel's touching this exhaust now, so I imagine if you're riding, you're probably going to touch this exhaust and melt your shoe. Keep that in mind. But as far as how I feel on it, comfortable. The seat's relatively soft. I think it is a little harder than I would have expected, but it's not bad to sit on. So she said. All right, so another really interesting feature that I think is honestly the coolest and one of the biggest benefits to having an electric motor is walk mode. There's a button over here, hold it down, it sets you up. Obviously you gotta turn that on. Now you're in walk mode, and we're gonna demonstrate that. Power button here, you'll see walk mode turn on, and then hit first gear. Now you're in front and forward and reverse. And then it goes reverse. Those of you that have trouble walking a bike backwards up a little incline now have assists. It's the beauty of having an electric motor is it can go either direction and not be super hard to do. Now the benefit for a lot of these electric bikes is the connectivity that you have through your smartphone and the tunability to the bike. So Kawasaki has a Rideology app, and from that point, you can actually look through all the settings that were in this bike, the passenger settings, the payload, what sort of suspension, a lot of different parameters you can adjust on your phone, which means there isn't a huge amount of adjustability within the bike anymore. It's a lot like the Zero SRF, where a lot of what you can do to tune the bike is on your phone. So that connectivity, I haven't been able to play with the app. I don't have it connected, but from what I've read, it's rather responsive and works, doesn't crash too often. So that app really just shows how these bikes are evolving and moving into that next generation where, yes, electric is coming, but this is still a hybrid, and it makes it just a little sweet to still hear this thing rumble. So let's hear a rumble for just a second. It's a 451cc motor. It's nothing crazy. I'm not giving it revs. It's a brand new bike. But yeah, you still have that noise, and then you have the added benefit of an electric motor. Again, forward and backwards is really cool. I do think it's a little bit heavy. I'd like to ride it. Maybe we'll get one chance in the near future. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment what you think about this type of technology coming into motorcycles. And again, thanks to Arizona Kawasaki KTM Triumph of Tucson. They always get some really cool stuff in, and I'm honored to be able to show them and have them bring the bikes out for me to kind of share with you all. So with that, you all have a fantastic day. Definitely check out the next video.